friends, this is Jennifer from DecorSauce. Welcome back and thanks for tuning in for part 2 of how to finish my tree wall mural by adding leaves. Now I have decided to go with a painting a leaf technique. I was originally going to do a 3D look and I think it would be really cool and awesome, but it's also a lot more expensive. So if you're interested in doing a 3D wall look, then you can use something like this, which is a ficus branch. And that would look really good on our birch trees or our ficus tree trunks that we have already painted on the wall. So that's an option for you. And if you are interested in doing that, I did find those tree branches for a really good price on Amazon. And so I'll post the link below. Now, this is kind of the look that I'm going to be going for. And I'll hold it up really close. And the leaves are not perfect. They're kind of just all over the place. They're not necessarily attached to a branch and they're in about 3 different colors. So we're gonna try to recreate this look on the wall. And the way I'm gonna be doing that is using a stencil that I'm gonna be making by hand. Now, I would love to be able to purchase a stencil like this already made, but unfortunately I can't find one at this point in time. So I'm gonna be making my own. And what I've done is I found a couple of images of leaves that I like online and I printed them out. And I changed the scale a little bit so that the scale will be right for my specific trees. And I've done a couple different sizes. So I've printed it in a larger scale and then like a medium scale and a small scale. And I like the large and the medium best. So what I'm going to be doing, or what I'm doing, is I'm going to make a stencil out of these leaves. And then I'm going to use some spray adhesive to stick the stencil to the wall. And then I'm just going to sponge paint right in the stencil. I have a couple of products that I have purchased to try to make this work, and I'm not sure what is going to work yet. So you and I are going to go through it together so we figure out what the best technique is. Now, in order to make the stencil, I'm going to be using a plastic flexible cutting board material. I've seen people make stencils out of presentation folders too, but I had the cutting boards on hand, so I'm going to use those. But feel free to use either thing that you think will be better if you have it on hand or if you have to buy it, or depending on what's cheaper. I'll put all the links below in the description box so that you can decide for yourself what makes most sense to you financially. But what I had was the flexible plastic cutting board. So what I've done is I've taken my leaf pattern, I just basically cut a rough square, and then I traced my leaf pattern inside of the square, and I'm going to be cutting this out. I have, like on a true cooking show, I have prepared one for you already that I cut out. And I actually ended up doing this with scissors because I have a scalpel that's for electronics, and it really just wasn't sharp enough to poke through for some reason. Maybe it was the surface I was using. So I just poked scissors in and trimmed around the leaf pattern with scissors. So I think it'll be perfect to do random leaf patterns all over these trees and sort of a random abstract type of way. So here are some of the supplies that you're going to need to complete this project. First is you're going to need a spray adhesive that's repositionable like this one, and I'll put the link to that. The next thing is going to be 3 different, or however many colors that you think will be best, 3 different colors of paint is what I chose, and 3 different colors of green, a light, a medium, and a dark. And these can be purchased at Lowe's or Home Depot, whatever big box store you like the best, for about $3 each. And it's cheaper than acrylic paint and seems to go a little bit farther or cover better on the walls, or at least I found that to be the case. I actually completed these trees that are on the wall behind me with 1 container of brown paint, and I still had about half left over. So it really goes a long way. The next thing is I collected a few different paint brushes or paint applicators. This one is a craft project brush. This one is kind of a regular, it's almost like a blush brush, a 430 round mop brush. And the next is sort of, this is kind of for dabbing, so you don't rub with the sponge, it's like a sponge dabber. So we have that. And I did pick up also a 2-inch foam touch-up kit. It came with the tray already, and then I got a couple of extra foam roller brushes in case this went faster. So it's going to be a little bit of trial and error, which is why I'm doing it for you, so you don't have to buy all these supplies. You can just figure out which one works the best, or help me figure out which one works the best. I'm going to put the spray adhesive on the back of the stencil now. The instructions on the can of spray adhesive say to shake the can really well and then apply it at a distance from 8 to 10 inches and keep the can moving, so basically just like spray paint. So I'm gonna start with the darkest color green and the 2-inch trim roller with the container that came with it. Now, as you can see, I already did the larger leaf here. There is a little bleed, which I'm not sure if I am okay with that yet or not. I'm gonna try the smaller leaf and see what happens here. I have to say the roller is a little bit more difficult to make the leaf with the smaller of the two, so just something to note. But it does look pretty good, and probably on a big scale it won't matter that the leaves are a little bumpy around the edges. Now I'm going to try the larger stencil with the medium color green, and we'll see if it makes any difference with the pouncer brush. On this one here, I made a mistake and I had paint loaded into the brush and accidentally hit the wall, so I just decided to put another leaf there. Okay, so now that I've been working on my tree leaves for about an hour, I'm going to pontificate about what I'm doing wrong, why you shouldn't do it, and the exact tool that you should use. Okay, first of all, the only acceptable paintbrush for this job is this craft brush that looks like this. The roller, the sponge roller, does not work out very well. I don't like the way it works. This one just taps the paint right in. It's perfect. It doesn't bleed outside the line. So first of all, do this one. Second of all, do your leaves in phases. So what I did was I wanted to do my layering effect right away, but it just doesn't work. You really need to do one color, let your paint dry, and then go back and fill in with second color and then the third color. And then as those layers dry, then you can continue to add more layers. You can wipe off your stencils, you can reuse the stencils and all that stuff if everything's dry. If you're trying to do it wet in 3 colors like I just tried to do, which is a mistake, then you're gonna get bleeding, you're gonna get bumps, you're gonna mess up your paint, you're gonna have to put leaves in places you don't want to, and etc. So let me show you where I'm at right now. So I worked at the top a lot, and I do have 3 layers of color up there. I don't know if you can tell, but it would be going a lot smoother if I could just wait and do one color at a time. So if you're doing this at home, one color at a time, let everything dry. If you must do more than one color, then have more than one of this craft paintbrush. It's really the only one that works. So I'm gonna keep going and I'll continue to give you updates. Using all 3 colors and all different paintbrushes, and I went to just one color, the dark color, and 2 different leaf patterns. So I filled in all the blank areas, and I'll show you what it looks like, with just one leaf color. Now this is where I started with the 3, and it already looks pretty good, but it was really hard to manage all the wet stencils, all the wet paintbrushes, and all the palettes and all that stuff. So we went to one at a time, and I'll scroll and show you what it looks like. So I'm going to take a break and let the first color dry, and then I'm going to go in and fill in with my next color, which is the medium green. And I just wanted to say, like, if you make mistakes, don't sweat it, because if your stencil, if you go over the edge or whatever, or you make a little mark on the wall that's not supposed to be there, you can just later on cover it up with a leaf and and overlay them or whatever, and so really it works out really well. You can keep layering as long as you have to until all your mistakes are covered. So in that respect, this project is really forgiving, which is kind of cool. And because art is subjective and there's no really right way to do this, it's kind of just abstract and flowing, and that makes the look overall more cohesive because it's less fussy. So I'm gonna take a break and let this dry, and then I'll show you what it looks like when we have the next couple coats. Now the medium color is done too on the leaves, and I just wanted to show you the progress so far. And I think it looks really good and I'm really happy with it, but I also want to be done. So I'm just going to do the final coat of the light color and call it a day. Now you could keep going and go crazy and do as many as you want, but I think it looks really good on how it is now, and I think it's a little better to pull back instead of going crazy when you think it starts to look good or shape up. So I'm gonna finish up and then I'll show you what the finished product looks like when it's all done. If you like this content or it helps you, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And in order not to miss any of my new releases, please also hit the notification bell. Any products that I used in creating these trees, I will have listed below in the description box, and that way there won't be any questions about what I used. And I really appreciate your support. So thank you so much for tuning in and for watching, and have a happy DIY.